It's after sundown, and it's been a really, really busy day, and so I'm going to try to articulate as best I can on this. Sometimes when you have busy days, the brain doesn't work so well. This is about the only time that I could find to make this video. This is my 1,000th cup of coffee, and I had pondered many ways of how I was going to celebrate this. Discussed it with somebody that is very dear to me. Sabrina, thank you for all that you do for me. And so I decided that it was a matter of telling a story. And I do have people still awake here in the house, so you may hear hoops and hollers and doors slamming and cats meowing, and it's life. That is the wonderful thing about sharing a cup of coffee with people that you love. It's a matter of sharing little snippets of life. And those who have been with me on my YouTube channel for a minute, for the past 1,000 cups, have heard bits and pieces of this in various and sundry ways. Those who have been on the Haycraft Ministry channel have heard a lot of these stories more in depth. But for the folks that are new on BitChute and stuff like that, you may not have heard a lot of the story. And yeah, go on YouTube while it's there. It's one of those tiny channels. A lot of those tiny channels have a lot more to offer than what the big guys are offering. We just don't have the slick production style. That's some of the ones. We also don't have the millions of dollars to put into some of these things that the other ones do. But anyhow, it's story time. That's what I'm going to share with you for my 1,000th cup of coffee. And every so often I will use I call them mug shots, but that's my opening as far as the cups of coffee. And sometimes I use this little guy here that has a broken handle. And anybody would be like, why in the world would you keep that thing? Why would you throw it away? Why don't you throw it away? This was one of a set that my husband and I think had double luck on it. And of course this was mine that said love. And the color red in ceramics is a very, very difficult color because it burns out very easily. I have done some ceramic work in my life, and so I can appreciate the talent that it took for whichever company that it was that got this brilliant red. And apologize that the lighting is not where you can thoroughly appreciate it. But my husband and I fell in love in 2011 and decided to marry very quickly after God opened my eyes to this man. He had been trying to get my attention for over a year, and that's a story in and of itself. So I'm just going to give you the Reader's Digest abbreviated version. Anyhow, my husband's personality changed drastically during 2013. I was working at the time as an intensive in-home mental health counselor for our local community services board. And prior to that, we had had a lawn care business. And I couldn't understand what was going on. Michael had to hire other people when I took the job as a counselor to fill a position that I had within the company. And yeah, personality change. And I thought, what? This is peculiar. And I knew about my husband's past, and that involved a just horrific amount of abuse as he was growing up. And the state of Tennessee and its infinite wisdom as what happens with kids that are abused when they start acting out in their early teen years and stuff like that. He was no different on that, and they started incarcerating him. My husband is not a violent person. He's never had a violent charge, but in and out of incarceration for since he was 12. And I will go back to the story. Actually, I met my husband when I was a corrections officer working at a regional jail. My husband was a trustee, and I took a job as a mental health counselor at a local youth facility that was kids 8 through 18 who had been horrifically abused. It was a level 4 security center, which meant it was locked. There was only one level that was higher than the facility that I was at. But anyhow, I had already taken the job someplace else when my husband approached me and expressed his love to me. And in a split second, God opened my eyes to this man. Now, while I was in uniform, I never so much as held his hand. And I was already someplace else working when the facility found out about our relationship, which involved, him occasionally being allowed to call and letters. And the retaliation against my husband by the facility was ridiculous. And that was something that lasted about 9 months. But in 2013, his personality completely changed. I could say something to him, and he would almost repeat it backwards. And I had no idea. I thought that it may have been perhaps that he had relapsed on drugs. And no, relapse is easy. Michael was gone from our home for 9 months, and it was 9 months that was absolutely hell on this earth. I had no idea what had happened to this man. The love that we had for each other was unusual. It truly was, to say the least. And I knew something was wrong. I knew it in my spirit that it was wrong, what was going on with him, that nobody could explain to me what was going on to him. And lost my job, lost everything, because just because you work in the mental health field does not mean that your family are above having issues. But apparently, Highlands Community Behavioral Services thought that I was supposed to be exempt and my family was supposed to be exempt. They had a forced resignation on me, denied me unemployment, and I was never able to gain employment after that. And so these people caused me a tremendous amount of hardship. At my lowest point, they kicked me when I was down. Anyhow, I was going through the house one day, and I tendency to take my coffee with me into the bathroom if I'm brushing my teeth or something like that, or taking a bath, just sort of trying to find anything to hold on to. Now, the one thing that has held me together all these years has been God. But anyhow, I inadvertently knocked the cup off into the floor. And I am one of these people that I believe that words have power, tremendous power. And that the intention of that can actually go into the liquid. There was a gentleman that did some research about water and the crystals that was formed. I'll try to find a link for you. And when the water was blessed, these beautiful crystals formed. And when words of hate and stuff were spoken over the water, these very deformed, things formed in the crystals. And so words have power. And when I dropped the cup, instead of it shattering, the handle broke off. And it was interesting because of the situation that I was in. And it was a matter of love being broken. And I did try to glue the handle back. That didn't work so well. And then I thought, well, I could just go ahead and throw it away because I can't repair it. Or I could use it as it is. And so I kept it. And God brought my husband home in February of 2014. And he had little to no working memory of the previous 9 months. My husband has what's called dissociative identity disorder. They used to call it multiple personality disorder. In addition to that, there is the possibility that he has some brain trauma going on. Never tried to explain mental illness to an attorney or to a court of law because they won't listen. My husband was charged with a crime that he did not commit, which was shoplifting from a Walmart when he was at his lowest and his weakest. He was very easy to take advantage of, and that's exactly what some very evil people did. And when they got arrested, it was a matter that after the court, they walked. He did 5 years. And so and occasionally Michael likes to be in the videos and stuff, and there are some younger alternate personalities there. I had someone the other day on BitChute had commented, it's like, put a shirt on. And I'm like, look, you have no clue. That's one of the kids that was there without the shirt. And I'm not going to tell, who would tell a 10-year-old to put a shirt on a hot summer day? So I just thanked the person for allowing me to be the object of his vent and went on about my day. A lot of times things happen in our lives that we have no understanding. And God is still God all by himself. Yes, that is my nasty little cigarette thing. That is my negative coping skill, is do smoke cigarettes. There's a whole lot worse things that I could be doing out there. But things happen in everybody's life. It's not just ours. You know, ours could be a similar story to millions of you out there. And it's a matter of not quitting. Don't throw love away just because it looks broken. Don't throw people away just because they look broken. If somebody's doing something that you don't understand, ask them why. If they're not willing to talk to you, then pray about it. And when you don't think that you have anybody else to talk to or to listen to you, there is God. And God is faithful. And it is through his love of our brokenness that we're here. And if you ever listen to Brennan Manning, that man understood about the grace and mercy of God because he had walked a broken road. I understand that because my road has been very, very broken as well. And there is still God. For those of you who have been with me since the beginning of the Cup of Coffee adventure, you have no idea what you mean to me. And for the new ones, I look forward to sharing many cups in the future with you. It's a matter of challenging myself every day to find something wonderful or beautiful or weird or even poignant. I try not to rant too much because there are so many political channels out there. It's not that I don't have the capability, because I have been watching politics and the state of the country for almost 55 years now. Yes, I actually was one of those weird kids that would watch things like that. So I try to keep it a little more zen because I want everybody to share the beauty, because there's enough people out there sharing the ugly. And I try to see beauty in the things that other people see as ugly. You all have a beautiful, blessed day.